Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Look what I found. Actually, my husband found this when he was going through some of his old things. It was a set of 50 state bird and flower stamps that the United States Postal Service issued back in the 80s, I think. And I was so excited because I thought, well, I've got the rubber stamps from artneco.com that are all the 50 state birds. They're like ATC size images. I'm like, I've got to make a card. And I love this because I can see the coloring, you know, what colors the flowers are and stuff. So these images are not the same as these, but they're the same flowers and birds. So I thought that was just a really fun serendipitous finding. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a little postage stamp embellishment because I kind of like that postage stamp feeling. And this is one I tried and failed miserably. I'll bring it up there so you can see. So I decided I was going to go about this a different way, and we're actually going to use two different coloring methods. And the first, we're going to use markers directly on our rubber. So I'm just going to go in here with my markers very loosey-goosey and add some colors. I like to go lightest to darkest, going in with some yellows and some golds. I will need to add some color later. I'm not going to do too much because I know not all of this is going to show. And I also scribbled some of these colors out on a tile while I was at it because we're going to do a watercolor technique with the markers in a minute. So I want to get all of this in a quick video for you this morning. And also I want to show you how well different brands of watercolor markers work together. So you can have some of this, some of that. They all don't have to be the same brand, and they will play very nice together. So I know a lot of people they feel like they have to have, you know, the entire set of one company or another, and they don't realize that, you know, you can just add on. If you know, really like one color by Tim Holtz and you like another color from Tombow, it's completely fine to mix and match there. And in with a little bit of black. These are aqua markers right here, but I've got Tombow, I've got Marvy, I've got all kinds of different things I'm using today. All right, so now what I want to do, so I tried to kind of mask off this die cut here and make a little postage stamp that way, but I couldn't get the bird in there. I kept cutting off the head, and that's the one part I really want. So what I decided was to cut the die cut and then cut a little square, and then I'd stamp on the square and do it that way. So what I'm going to do is actually breathe on the stamp so that I can re-moisten all that ink, and then I'm going to press this little square on top. Don't mind my crazy hair. There we go. I'm full of hot air. Isn't that lucky? So now I can actually see exactly where my ink's going to go. And I'm going to take a little piece of scrap paper and rub over the back so that I don't get ink all over my fingers, because I know it's going to end up right on my card if I do that. Alright, hopefully I haven't smudged it. Alright, so now I've got my little bird image, and what I'm going to do is move this out of the way for a moment. We're going to use it again in a second, but I just want to get it out of the way for now. And I've scribbled out my color onto this little, just little tile, and I'm going to use a blending pen to pick up some color and color my image. So there, I made myself basically a little watercolor palette by just scribbling my markers out on that tile. And scribble your markers clean between colors. And this does not have to be, I'm not going to take a lot of time with it, it's just a little embellishment. It's not the main course of this crafty meal that we're going to be making today. There we go, a little bit of the darker green and back, you know, just very quickly. You could take, you know, a lot more time, but I'm a little limited as to how long I can shoot, so I'm going to keep it simple and quick. Oh, wonder what that crazy noise is. Always a crazy noise down here, isn't there? That is a new one. I'm not really sure. It sounds like the TARDIS is about to land. And then I'm just going to throw in a little bit of blue in the background. Our bird is up high in a tree, and you can see the sky. This is going to get better, I promise. I know this is quite a bad start to a tutorial. It will get better. Well, I hope. I guess I won't upload it if it doesn't get better. If you're watching it, then it must get better because I've uploaded it. Oh, get a little more. But this is really tiny. This is just like 1 inch by inch and 3/8 or something. And then I'm just going to put that right on there. I think I might sponge a little bit of, oh my gosh, that furnace keeps kicking on. I just last take was ruined because the furnace came on. I'm just going to use a little sponge and some of that that marker ink just to kind of spongy edges. So, you know, you can really use a lot. Use those markers for a lot. Don't be afraid to really give them a workout. Okay, so this is only an embellishment. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just gonna, you know, it's just going to decorate our card. Actually, I'll put the adhesive on the back of this. This gun looks really big for the tiny little amount of glue I'm putting out, doesn't it? There we go. Alright, so I'm going to set this little guy aside to decorate our card in a little bit. And then we're going to bring back our plate of rubber stamps. And I didn't cut the... I've done this take so many times, I don't even remember what I've said. I decided not to cut my stamps apart because I'm afraid I would lose them. So I've kept them, all the rubber together, so when I want to stamp with them, I stamp them like this. Alright, so I decided I needed to get a new black waterproof ink pad because the formulation has changed from the Stampin' Up! One I like so much, so I decided I would try Ranger Archival ink. It was on sale, and the first thing I did was smell it, of course, because I wanted to know what this ink is made out of. And you know what it smells like? It smells like a combination, and only women are probably going to understand this. It smells like a combination of rum and mascara. Or it smells like, you know, when you were in high school and you wore the Great Lash mascara and, you know, you've had it for a while and it started to go off a little bit and that's what it smells like. It smells like mascara that's kind of gone bad a little bit. So I just thought that was weird. It didn't smell like something like, is it going to smell like StazOn? Is it going to smell like alcohol? Is it going to smell like nothing? I didn't know because my Stampin' Up! Ink doesn't have any odor to it. So I was just curious. And what I'm going to do is actually wipe this off the surrounding bits because I might need a little bit more border, and I want to make sure the border is just clean enough because I'm going to cut it out with postal edge scissors. So I'm just kind of wiping this with a baby wipe. I won't be able to get all of it, but you know, it'll be fine. I just want to make it fairly clean on the upside, and that's nice and juicy, so I don't need to breathe on it or anything. So I'm going to set my card stock down. This is actually Bristol board because that does really well with markers, and you can buy that in pads at your art supply store. I got a big pad of it, and I wish I got in a smaller pad because I can't cut it on my paper trimmer. It's too big to cut on my paper trimmer, so I have to get out my X-Acto knife and big mat. Alright, and there I have a really nice image, and I'm not worried about the stuff out here because I am going to be trimming it with my postal edge scissors. So that's going to go away. This is going to come back, and we're going to do a bit of coloring. So as I mentioned before, I scribbled out my colors here on this tile, and I'll be using a blender pen. If you don't have a blender pen, just use a damp brush, and we'll be picking up colors to color. And I'm going to start off, and actually, I think I might actually just go right in with the purple and color these little flowers, or at least put some of that color in, because this is such a light color. This is one of my Memento markers. There's a lot of colors I really like in that line, and they're fairly affordable. I got them on sale at Joann's, and I picked some up at a stamp show they were like a crazy sale at the Gary Berlin booth. I don't know why. Hopefully not because they were going out of them, but they come in like 4 packs, and maybe if you buy them online you can buy them individually, but they come in kind of 4 packs by color family. So there's just a little info about those. I really like them. They also match the Memento pads. And I do like the Memento pads too. I just have a lot of Stampin' Up! Ones because I bought some secondhand off a lady that was getting done selling, or she was kind of downsizing. She didn't want to have the big pads. So I'm just going to throw in a little bit of the shadowy green. It's just a lot easier to control because watercolor markers don't really blend as well as your alcohol markers, so they kind of grab to the paper a little bit more when you start off with them, so it's a little bit easier to go in there with the blender pen. You'll get a much more gradiated look. And you know, you can absolutely do this with your, use your alcohol markers if that's what you have, and that's what you want to use. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like this gives me the ability to control a little bit better. And you'll want to take more time when you're coloring this at home. I have to keep my videos to under 20 minutes because that's how long my camera records for, and I don't have time to edit any more videos. I'm really wondering what on earth that noise is. I'm going to shut off my heater. I'm thinking if my heater's making that noise, that's probably not a good thing. I don't know. Like cricket stuck in it or something. I don't know. That is an odd noise. And then maybe I could go in with my with my this pen and color these ones over here if I want. Now this is a Pitt India ink marker, but it is, even though it's India ink, and India ink is permanent when it's dry, it's still water based, so these work all together. These work really well all together, and you can even go over a couple times if you do want a darker look. And I think I'll color in a few select leaves just with that. This is a pretty big brush here on the end of this marker, so it's a little it is a little bit harder to get in and around, but I'm just kind of throwing in some kind of background shadows. You don't want everything to be perfectly in focus and colored, because then everything starts to look flat. Alright, yeah, I think that squealy noise was from my, some more of that color in there, was from my, whatchamacallit, thing that heats my feet. The feet heater, the space heater that's under my table. Don't like to have cold feet. And we in frame, look at that, I just keep shoving it out of the way. I'm having a rough time with the videos today. I thought, well, I'm just going to do a quick video before I get some of my other work done today, and it just, did not go as planned. Oh, I was very inefficient day thus far. But the only thing the progress I made, I managed to color my roots this morning. That's the, secret's out! That's the only progress I have really made today. The only thing I want to be careful of is that I don't drag color outside of my little box, the little dark box there, because I really want that area to be nice and crisp. And yeah, this is a little tedious. I probably should pause it while I finish coloring these flowers, but these leaves rather, but I think I can do in a couple more strokes and be done with that. And again, I feel like I'm mumbling. I apologize for the mumbliness. And I'm going to go in with this brown and just color in the branches. This is a pretty dark color, so I didn't want to take it straight from the marker. But you could. Completely up to you, depending. You know, if you have more markers, you might not use a blending pen as much, but if you have fewer, you can really get a lot more shades of color by using a blending pen. The one I prefer is Stampin' Up's blender. The one I'm using here. You get 3 for $10 still. I was surprised that the price hasn't gone up with that, because I got mine a long time ago. And you can go to their website or find a demonstrator, or, you know, I know there are some that watch my channel, so I'm sure somebody can get in contact with you if you're looking for a demonstrator. Alright, I just like throwing in a little more color there, and just kind of dabbing it on. Alright, now I'm going to color the goldfinch, and you know, gosh, I could almost just go right in there with a straight color, because they should be nice and vivid. But since we have yellow and purple next to each other, they're going to look pretty. It's going to look pretty bright. Get the little feet, need a little shadow with the gold on the chest, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of black on the wings. I don't want to get rid of all that detail. Just darken them up a little bit. And since I've already used black ink, I'm going to use the black marker. Okay, am I missing anything else here? I think that's alright. Now if I want to put the background, if I want to put a little of that blue in, I can do that too. I'm not going to fill it in completely. I'm just going to kind of put it on the edges, and then just kind of keep coloring, and the blender pen will kind of run out of juice. Will run out of color. This way I get a very soft little kind of rouge effect. I could scribble out a bunch of this and use a foam blender, but then I wouldn't be able to really keep it away from my my focal image. Oh my gosh, we're at 13 minutes. I think we can get this card together, because I did a little prep work while I was waiting for my furnace to shut off. And I like to turn my thing as I work, because I find it easier to kind of approach something from the right hand side if I don't want to smear my ink. I'm scraping up every little last bit of blue that I put up there. Alright, so now I'm going to cut that. I'm going to scribble this off to make sure my marker's clean, set that aside. And actually found these at the dollar store one day, these little postage edge scissors. Postage edge scissors. Good grief, that's hard to say. And I like these. I also have the Fiskars ones, which do a more natural, smaller size ones. But when I'm doing like a large postoid or large focal piece, I like that this has a really nice big big pattern, and I find it very easy to repeat this pattern. There, and continue on around. I just try to kind of line up the blades. So people ask me how I do that. I just try to keep an eye, you know, at how they line up, and I try to make it look as least awkward as possible. So I don't really have, you know, a scientific method of how I use decorative scissors. And I love decorative scissors. I think that that's one of the best, one of those best old supplies to keep around. So we got that. And where's my little embellishment? This is my little embellishment here that I made. And I want to add a ribbon, I think. I grabbed this, grabbed some, oh, let's zoom out a little bit, shall we? I grabbed some seam binding, and I was just going to wrap it around this front panel, but then I realized that it was too flimsy. So I'm actually going to do this around the front and tie a bow. I'm going to use 2 pieces of ribbon. This grosgrain is from Paper Mart. This seam binding is Hug Snug, and I bought it for like $1 or $2 a roll. Like years ago, they clearanced all these colors, and I'm so glad I did because I haven't been able to find it for that price, and a lot of places just aren't carrying it anymore. It was like the biggest thing to make crinkled seam binding, to buy seam binding and crinkle it up a few years ago, but apparently, I don't know if companies sold out of it and decided they didn't want to stock it anymore or what. But I'm glad I got some because it's really, you get a lot for not a lot of money, so. Alright, tie this in a bow, hopefully fairly decently. You never know till you tie your bow how it's going to come out. The paper that I'm using is really old. The background stuff is some Making Memories, I think. Or maybe Me and My Big Ideas. I don't know. It was from a pad that was given to me, and the pad was a few years old. And but I think the vintage stuff is great because it never really goes out of style. There we go. Oh, I like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put my focal image here. And I did sew that little panel on there. You can't really see much of it now. And then I think I'll just kind of layer that maybe. How do we think that looks? I think that's fine. I'm going to use some hot glue because I want it to have a little dimension. And I don't have my foam squares over here, so that's a little trick that I use. I'll put a big old gobs of hot glue. And somebody had asked me a couple times, and I answered it, I thought, but apparently not. Or the person never saw my reply. But they asked how, like, if I ever have any problems with, because I use hot glue a lot on my cards, with the glue getting brittle and cracking through the mail. And no, it doesn't. It's quite flexible, actually. Hot glue remains quite flexible after it dries. So, oh, I think I might want to ink the edges of that one. So, no, I have not had any problem with that. So to do my little, I'm going to do a little fake rouge here. Fake, it's not really fake. I'm just going to scribble some of that fresh brown. I'm going to use my little sponge applicator while it's still wet and just ink this. So, you know, see what you can get your supplies to do. They really, you know, markers, ink pads, whatever you have, make the most of it, you know. You don't have to go buy new every time something new comes out. A lot of times you can make, you know, make it work with what you already have. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put that right on there with a big old gob of hot glue. And, I haven't had any problems. You know, thickness of the envelope obviously might cause you to have some more postage because it might have to be hand canceled, but other than that, works great. So there you have it. It's a card in under 20 minutes, and look, we did all sorts of fun artistic techniques, and you learned what the archival ink smells like, which is, you know, hey, that works. Hey, it didn't bleed either when I colored over it with a marker, so that's a good thing. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe so you don't miss any others, and I want to thank you for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.